Hi everybody. So as I keep mentioning to you, things are really busy on Gradcracker at the moment, with thousands of roles currently live and 370 employers looking for you, our Gradcracker audience, to apply to their positions. So make sure you visit daily, download the app and stay up to date with what's new. So on today's webinar, we welcome Siemens. We are joined by Victoria, who is the early careers guru, and graduates Anna, Jasmine, Henrietta, and IT intern Shadira. So thank you all for joining us today. Siemens has been working with Gradcracker for 15 years, and today we're going to be hearing from a number of students about their experiences so far. So everything about how they found the recruitment process, so the different projects that they've been working on, and much more. So today, Victoria, we're going to start with you. So welcome. Could you introduce yourself to the students and tell us a little bit more about your role and your involvement with early careers?
I certainly can. Firstly, thank you all for joining. It's great to see that so many of you are interested in Siemens and what we have to offer. And a huge thanks to Carla and the team from Gradcracker for making this happen. I'm Victoria. I'm the Senior Talent Acquisition Partner for Early Careers here in the UK. I've led the Early Careers team operationally at Siemens in the UK for about 7 years now, managing circa 180,000 applications to recruit around 2,200 students over that time into graduate, intern and apprenticeship opportunities. To put things into perspective, the most recent student recruitment cycle, we managed around 30,000 applications against 300 roles. So demand for early careers opportunities here at Siemens is very high.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Victoria. Those numbers are absolutely phenomenal, aren't they? Can you tell the audience a bit of an overview to Siemens as a business?
Yes, I can do. So Siemens is a German multinational conglomerate that started in 1847. So we've been here a long time.
Yeah.
The business is a technology company focused on industry, infrastructure, transport and healthcare, creating technology with purpose. We've got more main business areas. We've got digital industries, smart infrastructures, Siemens Mobility, which is the trains side of the business, and Siemens Health and Ears. Yeah. And then we have service businesses such as SFS, Siemens Financial Services, Siemens Real Estate, and some global business services as well. We have around 311,000 employees worldwide, and it's a very vast array of roles that we offer. There really is something for everyone here.
Perfect. And that leads perfectly on to what I'm going to tell you about now from the audience's point of view. So right now on the Siemens Company Hub on Gradcracker, they are open to applications for their internships and graduate opportunities. So in total, 19 opportunities, all open to multiple candidates and across all STEM disciplines. So the internships cover programs from sustainability, manufacturing, assurance and IT, to planning, quantity surveying, systems engineering, business, research and development, a huge range. Their graduate opportunities cover signalling, control systems, network engineering, R&D and quantity surveying. So full details of the roles, including locations, can be found on the job descriptions on the hub on Gradcracker. Siemens PLC will also be going live with their opportunities shortly, so they are more corporate functions. So don't forget to follow Siemens to be alerted to when they open. Again, speaking about the Company Hub on Gradcracker, it also gives you, the students, a fantastic insight into their business. So make sure you head over there after the webinar to follow, apply and find out even more about them. So now let's meet the panel who use Gradcracker to research and apply for their positions to get an insight into the organisation. So Anna, I'm going to come to you. Tell us all about what you studied and where did you go to university?
Hello everyone, thank you for being here today. And regarding your questions, so I started my journey studying electrical and electronic engineering. I've done bachelor's and then master's all together in a Newcastle University. Yeah. And yeah, it's been a full 4 years of that.
Perfect, thank you very much. Anna and Jasmine?
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine. I am a graduate engineer at Siemens and I studied aerospace engineering at the University of Liverpool. I just did a bachelor's and I started here at Siemens last August. So I've been here a year.
Lovely, thank you very much. Henrietta?
Hi everyone, yeah, I'm Henrietta. So I did general engineering at the University of Sheffield with a specialism in material science and engineering.
Fantastic. So these are all the grads from a variety of different backgrounds and universities. And Shadira, really looking forward to meeting you as well. So you're an IT intern at Siemens. Tell everybody about what you're currently studying at university and at which university.
Hi everyone, I'm Shadira and I'm a student at the University of East Anglia, or UEA for short,
Yeah.
and I'm studying Business Information Systems currently.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the introduction to Siemens so far. And Jessica, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks, Carla. So Anna, I'm going to start with you because you're the top of my list. If you could tell us a bit more about your current role at Siemens, please.
So can do. So currently I'm placed in tech support. So I'm providing support to customers through a special system where we get requests about some kind of troubles with technology they're experiencing. So I'm learning a lot about Siemens technology, whether it be drives or whether PLCs, and I'm also trying to support customers on the queries they have.
Fantastic. And how long have you been in that role for, Anna?
So this role just started for my second year of a graduate scheme. I've been already a year there. So exactly in this role, I started it, I would say a month ago. So not much, but I'm learning a lot. So that's good.
Oh, fantastic. Good stuff. Jasmine, I'm going to come to you next. Again, same question. If you could tell us a bit about your current role at Siemens.
Yeah, so currently I'm working in the motion control business. I'm on my third placement around the company. So I've done two and I've just started 2 weeks ago into my third 6-month placement in digital industries. So I'm working in a product management, sales and marketing role. So I'm getting more of the customer facing side. I've done all the technical side as well.
Absolutely. So again, this is the great thing about doing a graduate program or a graduate scheme, is that you really get that chance to kind of experience lots of new things. And did you know that you were going to kind of go into this particular role that you've just started? Is this something that you wanted to do, or how did you kind of transition from the previous role to
Yeah,
this
not
role?
really.
Okay.
I just wanted to, there's so many different opportunities and I just wanted to sort of get as much experience as I can, because on the grad scheme you can try a load of things and sort of have that safety net underneath you. I would have never expected to do anything to do with sales or product management when I've come out of uni, so it's good that I can give it a go for the next 6 months and see how I get on with it.
Absolutely. And Jasmine, if you don't mind me asking, could you tell us a bit about your team then, and how you know, your kind of day-to-day tasks look like in that team as well?
Yeah, so the team's quite small. So MC has about, I think probably about 6 or 8 people working in it. So we've got sales specialists who go out to site and customers. We've got support as well, so people that need technical specialists who have a bit more knowledge about the products. And I'm often going on customer visits, so I'm going to see customers that Siemens have, seeing the sort of getting tours around the machine and the factories as well, which is really interesting to see where our kit ends up and sort of put it into perspective what the things that we work on, where the customers are putting it. I do a lot of stuff remotely as well, so I work from home as well, so we have Teams calls, catch-ups, and also other stuff out of my role. So we do volunteering here a lot at Siemens, and like early careers events and socials and stuff. So it's not just work, there is some play.
Oh, good. I'm gonna definitely touch upon that a little bit later on then, because it sounds as though I like it. You can do some fun stuff as well as working hard. So yeah, we'll definitely be coming back to that. So thanks, Jasmine. Henrietta, I'm going to come to you next, if that's okay. Could you tell us a bit more about your role at Siemens?
Yeah, so I actually recently came off of the graduate scheme, literally last month. So I'm now an associate rolling stock engineer, which essentially means a train engineer. So we maintain the trains, and that's things from more short term to long term. So immediate things that need to happen that crop up, you know, safety related issues, and also planning in the long term. So if you've got overhaul programs that need to be run, optimization, things like obsolescence. So we've got a wide variety of different things that we do. And yeah, we've got fleets. I think we've got 14 fleets, and they range from all the way from Glasgow all the way down to London and Southampton. So yeah, I get to do a bit of traveling around as well with the job, which is very nice.
Oh, wow. And very interesting. So first of all, congratulations on finishing your graduate program. Very exciting. So tell us a bit about your experiences on the program. How did you find that? Was you a bit like Jasmine and what Jasmine's doing, trying to experience as much as you can? How was your journey through the program for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I had various 3-month placements at the beginning, so throughout the whole first year. My first placement was actually on the depot. So I was with the technicians working on the trains, doing the train exam. So a train exam is like an MOT for a train, essentially. So I was doing that for 3 months and getting involved in all of the different things that go on depot, and actually getting to know our assets hands-on. And I have to say, I experienced a lot, and I learned a lot working night shifts as well, which was definitely something I'd never thought I'd ever do. So I think that is a fantastic experience. But then I also had the opportunity to go kind of throughout our business in the rolling stock area. So I worked with the digital team, and I was helping develop tools so we've got a lot of data that comes off of the trains, and we need to develop ways in actually processing that and actually making it useful for maintenance. So kind of doing that stopgap between the trains and the engineers and the actual maintenance. Other things also working with the technical teams and our materials departments as well. So I managed to kind of go through loads of different departments.
Yeah, very interesting. I can't wait to delve a bit deeper. But Henrietta, just before we do, did you always have an interest in trains? Was that one of the reasons why Siemens was somewhere you wanted to apply to, or was there a passion there before?
No, there wasn't actually.
No? Okay.
No, not at all. I have to say, I very much fell into it. Yeah, and it just nothing I hadn't thought of it ever before. But I'm enjoying it, and it's actually a very interesting field.
Do you know what? And sometimes that is a really good answer, because I think this is the beauty again of doing a graduate program and working at a company like Siemens. Potentially where you could be in 3 years' time could be a completely different place to where you maybe expected to be when you just started. So really, really exciting. So Henrietta, we'll come back to you a little bit later on to find out a bit more detail about your rotations and projects. But Jadira, I'm going to come to you. I know Carla mentioned you've only been at Siemens just for 3 months, so not long, but could you tell us a bit about your current role and your experiences so far with Siemens?
So I'm working in the user IT team, which is focused on like user engagement. So this involves a lot of like learning and then exploring like different IT tools and technology. The two biggest ones now that I'm learning and exploring is Microsoft Power BI and Power Automate. Then basically we deliver masterclasses or interactive workshops to non-technical users, and we have to explain it in a way that they would understand and demonstrate, do live demos and participate in those live demos for them to understand. And then we also communicate with the audience, gather feedback using forms and surveys, and then we curate their specific needs to these learning resources, which we then can put on the Siemens internal learning platform, which is called My Learning World.
Right, very interesting. So in terms of the experience you've had then, it sounds like there's quite a lot of responsibility already to say 3 months in and you're already, got people to be looking after and reporting on and things like that.
I am only 1 month in, like a month and a half in.
Okay.
It's different because I started in August. It's like a bit complicated, so they count it as a month. But yeah, I'm only a month in, so I'm still shadowing people. I'm not in a month I will start my first project, which I'm excited about. But I've just been shadowing people so far. But it's been really fun to just help. Because I'm learning and I realize I can use these when I go back to uni, like the processes.
Absolutely, yeah. How have you found the transition already from university life to full-time working?
It's a culture shock, but it's like once you get into it, you kind of like it's so fast moving, fast paced that you kind of just have to adapt quickly, which I've been able to do luckily. But because it's not like it's really like it's not a lot more responsibility, but like once you start working and start like enjoying it, you reap the benefits basically.
Oh, 100%, absolutely. And in terms of that kind of transitional process for you, as I'm guessing Siemens will have definitely been supporting you, encouraging the next steps. But tell us a bit about that, and maybe tell us a bit about your day to day and how it looks so far. Like I say, you're only so early into the placement, but it seems as though you've had a lot of support already.
So day to day, I have like weekly catch-ups with my team, so my line manager and the other team members, and then like So normally it's like a lot of like shadowing. How am I doing? How am I feeling? Is the work too much? Which is really like useful to like have, because it's like, it's because sometimes I feel like as an intern you feel really nervous or scared to be like, oh hey, this is too much, or this is not enough. But to then have my line managers or my team members like ask me for me, or just like be the first person to propose that question, it's really helpful. So we have those. Then I might have a meeting with my colleagues to discuss some projects that we're planning. And then it's just like a lot of learning, because I do have to learn these tools and technologies to be able to present them to the end users, basically.
So it sounds as though your role, Chidera, you know, you've got a lot of technical knowledge that you need to be learned upon, but you've got a lot of kind of like key competency skills you need to be good at as well in this role. You know, you imagine where you're going to be once you've finished your internship. You know, you're going to be a great communicator, a great team player.
Yeah, definitely, because I have to communicate with the audience, because if the job is basically, if you don't take their feedback and curate that into something that or like just use that feedback and improve on your videos or the resources that you're making, then what's the point really? You've not improved or done anything different. So it's a lot of like talking to people, a lot of communication, a lot of collaboration as well.
Absolutely. Really, really exciting. We're going to come back to you a little bit later on, Chidera, but Anna, I'm going to come to you next. And could you tell us a bit more about, for example, the rotations you've experienced so far, a particular project that you've worked on that you've maybe found the most interesting?
So I had quite an interesting situation. So in my first year of the graduate scheme, I was able to go to Germany, so the, let's say, origins of Siemens, and work in the office there for a year to learn the German culture and learn most of the process from the specialist who created most of the things in Siemens. So it was a great experience, and we worked with different group projects there. So I firstly had a great experience with AGVs. Never had this topic like open up for me before. So had a great knowledge about how to make AGVs using Siemens technology, how to operate them in the factories, what is the demand, especially if you go into automation sector, and also had a great opportunity to work on my own project, which was within the factory, one of the Siemens factories to be exact. And I created the automated solution for special tools for centralizing them. So I tried to use all my knowledge I gained through the year to try and apply it. And now I'm back in Manchester, which is UK's headquarters for Siemens. And it's great. Now I'm learning through the team, and I feel like I missed them because I met them at the beginning of my grad scheme. So now I can be with them again. So that was nice.
Interesting. I don't know, Victoria, if you might want to add to this, but if there is any students that are looking at Siemens and obviously understand you are an international company, and you've got, you know, opportunities, you know, not just in the UK, but, you know, across the world potentially. As a graduate, is that a chance for a student to, you know, experience international opportunities as well as just in the UK, or is Anna's journey quite unique?
Anna's journey is quite unique, but there are a lot of opportunities within the graduate and intern space where they have opportunity to go and sort of support in other countries. And also, you know, once you've worked for Siemens in any country, it obviously stands you in a really good stead if you do decide you want to emigrate and move to Australia or America or wherever it may be, because you've already got that experience of working within the company, which, to be honest, I think anybody who works here would say that it takes a good year to get your head around how big it is and the offer and the, you know, all of the systems that we use. So having somebody who's already worked within the business and understands how the business operates and all of the platforms that we use is half the battle sometimes. So yeah, it's certainly, you know, certainly puts people in a much better position to put themselves forward for opportunities in other countries
in the future. Fantastic. So Anna, just come back to you then. So I'm going to probably ask you a question that I'm going to ask later on, but in terms of future plans, could you see yourself potentially going back to Germany? Is that something you'd want to do? Is that, you know, kind of a bit of a goal for you now, once you've finished the program?
That's a very good question. To be honest, like Siemens is all across the globe. It's incredible how the work culture is despite that, all different countries, it's quite the same. Everyone in the Siemens has a similar spirit. Everyone is very courageous, very interested in new things. So I would consider different opportunities, because obviously we have different departments within the company, and working with your colleagues abroad is a great thing to learn from them. Everyone is a different expert in different countries. So it is an opportunity for sure, but I definitely would like to stay, for now at least, in my home office and experience the opportunities, because obviously, it's interesting. It's always a learning journey. It's always a huge path. You think you always kind of reach the end of it when you learn something to extend to become an expert and know, and then you get new opportunities to open up. So it is an opportunity, but I'll consider it.
So Anna, that so just sticking to kind of your day-to-day stuff then. So you're saying that you're based in Manchester. Are you like Jasmine as well? Can you do kind of a hybrid remote kind of job as well? What's that looking like for you?
Yeah, it's also an opportunity. Depends what obviously you're working on. I like to work sometimes hybrid, sometimes mostly in the office, so I can see everyone, chat to everyone, but I get distracted really easily. So I better stay at home sometimes to concentrate my work. But I mostly work with so actual physical hardware. So for example, drives. Currently I'm trying to learn the process, like how to program them, what to do with them. So mostly it requires for me to be here in office. I'm never complaining. I'm only happy about it because I can see everyone. But yeah, it's an opportunity to do hybrid, as you said. Yeah, it's an opportunity to choose whatever you're working on. If you're talking to colleagues, to schedule different meetings in person or not in person. So it's always a great opportunity to have this choice.
Yeah, definitely. And Anna, without giving maybe too many trade secrets away, but could you tell us a bit more about the hardware that you are working on, and potentially where these bits of hardware will be end up potentially in the future?
Yeah, so I had a great experience during the last year and this year to try to learn and integrate everything Siemens have. So we have PLC controllers, which actually is like the brain of your functionality, the brain of that tells other technology how to act. Currently, I'm working with drives. It's my first experience. I'm trying to be friends with them. They're not really best friends with me. They don't really like me. It's always a big challenge. So basically, learning about our drive portfolio, how they perform, what they do, trying to integrate them in the projects, as well as we have a great communication systems, which allows your components in your project to talk to each other. So it's usually our Scalens products, which is great because I'm not IT person. I don't know how networks work or what is IP address, all this, fancy words, never knew what they mean. Now I get a chance to work with them as well. And we'll see what kind of projects it's going to turn out to be. But yeah, I'm trying to learn because Siemens has so much technology and the portfolio is literally endless. So yeah, that's most of the technologies I'm working on.
Do you know, and again, you're another perfect example, aren't you? Doing electrical engineering, and now, learning skills in the IT, sector. I'm sure you'll be coding and doing everything else before you know it, which is absolutely amazing. So well done, Anna. Jasmine, I'm going to come to you next. Similar question, if that's okay. If you tell me more a bit about the maybe rotations or a particular project you've worked on that's been your favourite so far.
Yeah, so for quickly what rotations I did, so I started in a part of the company called Connected Curriculum. So I literally came straight out of uni, and then within 3 months I was starting on my graduate role, and I'd never worked in like a corporate environment before. So I came here. It allowed me to get used to how the company functions. Like Vic said, there's so many different things that you need to get used to and how things work, especially when you've never worked in it before. So it was good to get used to that, and also start wrapping my head around the portfolio and what our offering is. And I worked with a small team that works with getting Siemens hardware into the curriculum at universities. So connected unis such as like Sheffield, I think Nottingham is a partner university. So they work with us to get Siemens students to use Siemens hardware earlier on, just to sort of build up the skills earlier. So that was a really good 6 months. And then I wanted to sort of itch that scratch of technical knowledge that I have. So I'm an engineer, always have been at heart. So I went to technical support where Anna's working now, and I got given a project for our demo room here. So we bring our customers to our demo room, and they get to see around basically show off what we do and what our grey boxes they look like on the wall, what they actually do. So I was given a project, and I sort of owned that by myself, which was great to sort of have a play around with some hardware and really get something going that will eventually be mine. I'm still working on it because, like Anna said, drives sometimes don't want to be your friend, but it's all a learning journey. And it's good now that I'm in my role now where I'm speaking to customers. I can almost understand the struggles that they might have in their real world application. I can see why they want drives, what applications they're suitable for, what they're not suitable for. So for those that, so yeah, just to add a bit of context, now I'm working in motion control. So we basically sell a lot of drives and making things move. And that could be a conveyor system, that could be a pump, it could be extractors, it could be anything. So anything that makes something move. So we do a lot of conveyor belt systems in big factories. We do a lot of like fire systems. Basically, if you need to get smoke out of a building, they'll pump all that. So just to add a bit of context as to where Siemens sits every day, because we can be a bit of a hidden hero. So it's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice to be working with them.
There's almost no industry that wouldn't need you. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Suppose, like you said, just in case if there was a fire, so obviously health and safety, every industry is going to need that. In terms of, kind of that knowledge then that you're gaining, working with external companies, working with clients, again, kind of understanding you've said that you like that kind of hardcore hands-on engineering, but getting the experience now engineering from another side, like you said, that kind of marketing sales side. Has that opened you up in any way in terms of just overall and where you can see your career going with Siemens, and has it opened you up to kind of new interests and potentially where you could end up?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, from an aerospace engineering background, I'm working in electrical engineering and automation and digitalization. It's just you never really expected to be here originally. But the grad scheme allows me to sort of sit at that table. I don't have to necessarily be a salesperson. I can sit at a table and see all these people with different roles around me and say, oh, I like their job, or I don't like their job, or I want to see what they're doing. And I drop them a message and say, can I shadow you for a day? So it's a really good opportunity to be able to sort of take your pick of the bunch basically, and sort of give things a go while having a safety net underneath you, so that if it doesn't work out, it's fine, you're learning and you've found something. It's good if you find something you enjoy, but it's almost just as good finding something that you're not really a fan of, because that just sort of saves you further on down the line. So yeah, I thought I was going to be some aerospace engineer, which I would always still love to be, but here I'm starting to think, do I want to work with customers a little bit more? Do I want to gain them skills? Do I want to maybe work in some sort of sales? I've no idea. It changes on the daily in a graduate role, so you never really know where you're going to go.
Because I think as well, sometimes when you say sales, it almost just has that kind of connotation around it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You think, oh, is that going to be me? You think, am I, would I want to be doing, working in that kind of environment? You think of high pressure. But, I think with the knowledge and everything you've gained so far, it is just amazing where, potentially where your career could end up if someone said this just 2-3 years ago, that you'd actually be enjoying doing sales and working with clients and external work. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's, again, a good show that Siemens is obviously supporting you in that, and you do feel comfortable to say, actually, I'm not too sure about this, I need a bit of help. You've obviously got that network around you, Jasmine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about giving it a go and putting yourself out of your comfort zone. Like, we just want to be encouraged to sort of give things a try and then see what you think of it afterwards. And yeah, like you said, sales, it's good to have that technical understanding behind you as well, because you can talk about it and be like, I know this through and through. What better way than to try to convince someone to buy it?
Yeah. It's funny actually now, before we did this webinar, you all turned your backgrounds on. And I kind of read them and I was like, oh, yeah. But now when you're actually listening to you all and then you read your background, you're like, oh, yeah, this is actually what it's all about now. It makes sense. You are all enthusiastic. You're thinking about your future. You're being yourself. I love it. Henrietta, going to come to you next. So I know you've kind of come off the scheme now, and you've started in your new role. Tell us a bit, maybe about your journey so far. I know you started early, but I tried to stop you because I didn't want you to go into too much depth, you see. So you can start again now.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a while. So I've been with Siemens now for 2 years, I guess. Time flies when you're having fun, right? But it has actually been fun, where I've been able to kind of go around the different parts of the business, and actually see how everything is also integrated with each other. And actually also how the projects that I have done as a graduate as well are actually having an impact. So I know some others have talked about their favorite projects. I think my favorite one was probably actually when I was with the digital team. So we So the digital team, they have a lot of different tools and they're fantastic. They're great. They can do so much, but not everybody knows about all of them. And it's a big problem because, well, we have several depots across the UK. I've already mentioned Glasgow, Southampton, Northampton. They're everywhere. And even though we're very well networked and, you know, everyone knows, well, most people, they don't necessarily know all the tools that are out there and available to them. So one thing that I was tasked with another graduate was to create something that actually showed all of the different things that were available to all of the different depots. Because before it was just an Excel spreadsheet. So what we ended up doing is creating a Power BI report. And in the process of that, there was several different things we had to do. We had to go to the developers and interview them, ask them about all of the different tools that they had so that we actually could understand them and knew what information do we actually need to tell the users that is useful so that they know if this is a tool that they might need. But then at the same time, we had to go to the end users. So that would be the technicians on depot, on shop floor, performance engineers at the depots, and even we have a central engineering team, which is where I sit. You know, our fellow teammates, that what information do they need so that they can go and solve the problems that happen. So we went round interviewing all of these different people to kind of then bring together all of this information and develop this digital portfolio portal. And we managed to do that within the 3 months that we were actually there, which was absolutely fantastic. And actually ended up seeing how it's now being used. I actually also ended up doing it was literally 2 days of shadowing our sales director. And I saw how even in one of their presentations, suddenly they were showing this tool that me and my fellow grad had actually created. And had been deployed as well. And that was along with some of the portfolio managers from Germany. They'd flown over to have a big meeting and it was mentioned in there. And since then, we've had a couple of requests from, I think it's like Singapore and Germany about certain bits of information. So it's really nice to see that all of this work that we're doing is actually useful. It's actually making an impact. And I think that's just really encouraging for everything that you're doing. And it's also just shows that how, you know, they're also open for ideas, and also, you know, putting yourself forward for things as well, because you don't necessarily get handed everything. You've also got to look for the opportunities and take them.
Absolutely. That responsibility as well, and the fact that Siemens were willing to give you a project and let you run with it, which is fantastic. But, you know, much respect to you and the team for achieving what you achieved in such a short space of time as well. 3 months to achieve all that, and it's obviously gone as well. And it must be so nice for you now to look back and think, I did that in a business. There was 300,000 people in Victoria that make up Siemens.
Yes, 311,000 worldwide.
11,000 people, and you could say, I did that. It must have, you know.
Yeah.
TV up to date, Henrietta.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just that, but it's also, I mean, it's a lot of transferable skills. So even though I'm not sitting with digital anymore, I not on the daily, but quite often have to communicate with our customers and let them know about all of the changes that we're making, and you know, they have to sign off my documents at the end of the day. And so being able to have, you know, develop those communication skills with a variety of different people, that, you know, it translates directly into what I'm doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know the word communication really kind of is hugely important in all of your roles, really, isn't it? That it does seem to be a bit of a trending theme. So I don't know, Victoria, I'm guessing this is something that you're looking for when, you know, you're looking at these applicants. You're wanting someone who can prove they're a good communicator, you know, good team player. You know, what kind of examples do you like to see when you get these applications? Do you like to see about extracurricular activities and things like that? Does that go down well when you're looking at applications, Victoria?
It does, but we have shifted our approach recently, and we've actually scrapped CVs from our process in terms of I can see them, but we don't give our hiring managers a CV until the actual interview or an assessment centre. So they don't have a choice as to who they're going to see on the day. and they have to trust that I have picked the right people, which is a lot of pressure. But I also know that our process works, and I know that by the time we go through all of the different parts of that process, by the time we get to the end part, I'm confident that I'm putting the right people in front of our hiring managers. So yeah, it's great to see that students have done extracurricular activity. It's great to see that they've got a passion for something. So for example, it might be that they've got a degree in one subject area, but they've actually learned to code at night, and they've been sat at night in their bedrooms coding, which is something that perhaps is relatable to a particular role, but it's not actually anything to do with the degree that they've been studying. And we are hiring for potential. So just because you've done a degree in one doesn't mean you're going to end up studying or fulfilling a role that's even, well, could be connected in some way, shape or form, but not completely. So it's good to be open-minded, because I think probably, I can speak for most of us, we've probably all fallen into our roles or the jobs that we're doing right now in some way, shape or form. And sometimes you try things out and you don't realise until you do that you're actually, that's a passion and you'd like to take that forward. So yeah, it's good to see people have got passion in other things if they have. So I think it's important to make sure that even if you're studying a particular subject, but you're doing something else that might be relatable to a role that you haven't mentioned on your CV, make sure you mention it. It might just be the reason why we put you through.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you hear about Jasmine, Anna, Henrietta's stories so far, and you know, again, where they've started, where they are now, and what they're learning now, and you know, Anna, you're a prime example, potentially maybe doing a bit of coding on a night when you go home to upskill yourself to make sure when the next day, you know, you can go into those situations as possible. So you almost need that upskilling kind of mindset all the time, that just that passion to want to learn, because that's what the grad program's all about, isn't it? Yeah.
Sometimes you become an expert by default. You know, you learn things that you never really set out to, and you turn out to be quite good at something and that you never actually considered. So I do think you've got to be curious and open-minded. So that's something for everyone to consider when they're applying for roles.
Absolutely, I love it. Right, sorry, today I'm going to come back to you if that's okay. If you could tell us a bit about, I know you've mentioned a bit about kind of the projects that you worked on so far in your first month, but is there anything additional that you want to add? Any other kind of experience?
Currently, me and another colleague she's in the team, but she's a graduate actually, because we have a couple graduates here. And we're working together and we're planning road shows. So we're going around all the Siemens sites in the UK. So currently we're thinking about a couple sites. I'll just name two. So Farnborough and Manchester, we're thinking about going. So we've coordinated with different IT coordinators, different teams there to ask for specific topics that their team might struggle with or want more information or just want to improve on. And then we're going to tailor specific live and fun and interactive workshops and masterclasses towards them. So that's like a big project that we're planning right now. It's taking a bit of time. And then also I've just been supporting and shadowing my other colleagues delivering masterclasses so I can get prepared, because that's going to be one of my big topics that I'm going to be doing in the upcoming months. So that's just a lot of team meeting, learning, exploring the software. We just recently did it on MS Bookings to test Outlook and the optimization of it as a scheduling tool. So that's currently what those are the two projects I've currently been working on so far.
So the roadshow there, is that something that you've kind of initiated with one of the graduates, or is this something that's kind of been, our way?
So in my team, it's been a thing, but then obviously the big C word, like COVID, stopped it. So then we're trying to bring it back now that it's more comfortable with our environment. So yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, but again, a good example of putting yourself in that situation, learning.
So just one thing, So because of, I love hybrid working, it's like it allows flexibility, but because of that, so our problem now is that we have to really try and persuade people to come in now, because it's like it's no point of it being virtual. I feel like sometimes virtual does work, but sometimes it's so much better when you're in person, because I don't know, learning when like as a through face to face, it just works better. So that's like the challenge that we're trying to the hurdle that we're trying to get over, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think sometimes face to face as well, there's nowhere to hide, isn't there?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you are on, a virtual setting. It's easy just to turn your cameras and mic
Yeah.
off, and yes, you're there, but are
Because
you really there?
yeah,
So
there'll be no point. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Again, it's good to have both skills, isn't it? Being able
Yeah,
to
definitely.
be on sessions like this as well as, face to face. So all very, very good. Jasmine, I just want to come to you quickly, just because you mentioned earlier when we first started talking, I just want to develop a bit more on that about kind of extra things that you've been involved in as part of your degree program already. So, you've mentioned about volunteering and stuff like that. And I just thought it'd be a really good time to hear a bit more about what you've been doing there.
Yeah, so here at Siemens, we get 2 paid days to go volunteering. As a graduate, we can do a little bit more for that. And these involve sort of like STEM days, career development days, like career fairs, maybe at schools, local schools, or like projects. So last year, I was supporting a student project from one of the local, well, we were in Manchester, so I would say local town, but one of the schools local to here. And we had a group of sixth formers who we wrote a project for them where we've got beehives, and we were like, build something to monitor the bees, and we mentored them, and they built a whole system with Raspberry Pi to measure like temperature and weight and things to monitor the health of these beehives. And it was really good because I got a lot out of it in terms of being a mentor, and we got a Siemens name in there. Obviously, we were talking about Siemens and telling them the opportunities we have here, but they also could ask us loads of questions. It was almost like this every week. They could ask us about uni. We got to go on visits with them. So we went to the University of Liverpool. So we gave them a bit of a tour, and it was really nice because at the end of the year they actually won Project of the Year. So we were really super proud of them. It was all them, but it was great. It was great for us to sort of mentor them through. So it's good that we get that opportunity as well. And then also we do a lot of early career stuff as well. So we have a network here in Manchester and through a lot of the other sites called Next UK. And it's an early careers led network for all our colleagues at Siemens. And I co-chaired it last year, where we put on events for career development, personal development, socials, and volunteering. And it just allows an environment where people can run and really put themselves out there. So people put on sessions for the rest of the colleagues. One of my colleagues put on a German language session because he spent 3 years in Germany with his other colleague as well. So it's really like a really supportive environment. So, and we also got to do that as well as our role. So a lot of like managers knew the value that we get out of this. So a lot of interns would take part, a lot of them apprentices, and we were sort of allowed to take 2 or 3 hours a week maybe and spend time doing on that. And it just made our networking and everything just 10 times better because you get to meet people from different roles. You could meet engineers, you could meet business graduates, you could meet sales apprentices. So you could meet all these people that if you stayed in your role probably wouldn't contact at all. And we also had different people from different sites. We had people from Hebburn, Congleton, and Farnborough getting involved. So not only is your network growing in a social sense, you never know who you're going to work with in the next 2 or 3 years. So you're also making them connections earlier on, which is it's a really good environment, and the possibilities, the fact that we're allowed to sort of take time for that, and the managers and senior SLT see the value in it, is just really important as well to me. And I'm a big advocate for volunteering and sort of personal development as well. So I've got a lot of it.
Well done, that's fantastic. I don't know if anyone else wants to add to that. Has anyone else had an experience like that or done anything which was maybe a bit different so far? No?
Well, I've recently actually joined our culture group.
Okay.
So yeah, so I've only just joined it, but in my area of the business, we do a business impact project in our second year of the graduate scheme, or if you're also an intern or a degree apprentice, so everybody does it. And mine was with the culture group. and we were looking at kind of like cultural behaviour and how we can continuously improve it, essentially. And through that, my manager actually agreed that I was allowed to continue working with them. So I now spend part of my week continuing to help them and support the work that they're doing.
And what kind of things will you be bringing in? Anything new? Are you?
So we have a questionnaire that gets put out every 6 months to everyone, and that questionnaire is about things like collaboration and how we all work together, the very general questions, so we can see where we might be lacking, but also where we're already doing well, so that we can really see what we actually need to improve on, because as great as everything is, there's always room for more and better. And so we're going to so every questionnaire has a bit more of a focus on a different area. And so we can then look at that area, we can kind of add a few more questions to do with that. And it's kind of thinking of how do we help people think about this? What kind of sessions can we create that are maybe shorter ones, because we don't all have loads of time. So we need something that is actually going to be useful for every team to have that discussion, facilitate that discussion, to really be able to have a think about it, so that we can then take all of the information from the questionnaires and like analyze that. So it's having an impact on how do we conduct those sessions, what are the best ways forward, and then also the actual data analysis as well.
Interesting. Again, it's interesting how, again, Siemens are encouraging you to be involved in as much as you can whilst you're on this journey. I'm going to quickly touch upon training and development. I know we've touched on it a bit so far. So Anna, I'm going to come to you for this question, if that's okay. If you could tell us a bit about the training and development you've received so far, or was there a particular experience that you had potentially want to talk about?
Sure. So, of course, I think of Siemens as a technical company. So it includes all the technical knowledge we gain during our training, so I think special courses. But I would like to include also some soft skills I've gained during all my placements or during all the time I had in Siemens, which is great because a great opportunity that you can have your own choice of what skills you would like to gain. You can easily approach people. Everyone is happy to help you. You can ask them to mentor you, to teach you some specific skills they have. And for example, for me, I struggled a lot with public speaking in the beginning. And in the beginning of university, it was very prominent. Hopefully now it's better. You'll be the judge. But, yeah, it was really hard for me. Yeah, very stressful. But over the time since Siemens, I was challenging myself more. And obviously, it's a very long process before you learn something. And I approached some people who were experts in that, who was absolutely incredible in public speaking. And they actually coached me for some time for that. And it helped me a lot with confidence. It improved like in different areas of like how I talk, what I say, my thinking process. So it's incredible how easy you can get lots of skills, and not only technical, but also like some soft skills. It all depends on you, what you choose.
Absolutely. And I think that's a common theme now, isn't it? Ultimately, this is what Siemens wants. They want people who are just, again, forward thinkers, enthusiastic, and ultimately to be yourself. So absolutely look at these backgrounds that everyone's got on behind them, because they're the kind of people that Siemens are looking for. Victoria, I think we're going to come back to you now and find out a bit more about the application process and what people can expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, everybody, for joining as part of the webinar. So, yes, I want to talk about the application process. I know you touched on that before a little bit, Victoria. So, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, all of the opportunities are currently on the Siemens Hub on Gradcracker, so the placements and graduate opportunities. So, after this webinar, go and have a look and apply. But don't forget also the corporate functions will be opening soon. So, don't forget to give them a quick follow before you put the applications in. So initially, make sure you do your research, go to the Siemens Hub on Gradcracker, watch the videos, re-watch this webinar, look at all of the fantastic information and content that they've got on there, and read the job descriptions carefully, thoroughly. And then once you've read the job description, scroll down on the Gradcracker Hub and click apply. So Victoria.
Can I just ask, and
Jessica,
make sure you save it to your shortlist?
Make sure you save the opportunity to your shortlist. Then
apply.
Victoria, take us through the next stages.
Okay, so I'll go through the full process end to end so that everybody understands what the process actually is. So when you actually apply for an opportunity through Gradcracker, through the Siemens Hub, you will be asked to complete some initial screening questions as part of that application.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on that first because it's very, very dangerous if you don't read the question thoroughly and you answer it incorrectly, because that means that your application could be automatically disqualified before you've even started. Okay, so I just wanted to flag that as a read the questions thoroughly, because you would not believe the amount of people that have been disqualified from the process because they've answered yes instead of no.
Okay.
And I have to say that because we can't follow up every single application. We get 30,000 between a 6-month period, and there's 3 of us. So if you answer that incorrectly, there's nothing I can do about it.
Okay, good top tip.
So top tip, if you meet the criteria for the role, then you may be shortlisted to complete our online games-based assessment, which might be new to some of you, but you might have heard of it. It's quite a common thing that a lot of big companies are starting to use. And it's basically a games-based assessment that you can do on your smartphone, a tablet, or on your laptop. And it's through our a company that we use called Arctic Shores. So do feel free to do some research on that so that you can prep and figure out what that is all about. But basically, a games-based assessment is designed to tell us your true potential by assessing how you think and learn rather than whether you get an answer right or wrong. Okay, so if you pass the online games-based assessment, you will then be asked to potentially do a short video screen. Now, this is usually for graduates, interns, and summer placement roles. We don't usually ask apprentices to complete because we find they just don't do them. And I don't know whether it's because they're younger or what, but we can't seem to get them to complete. So we decided to basically roll that out just to graduates, interns, and summer placement students, and I think degree apprenticeships as well. Sometimes it does seem daunting to have to do a video screen, but please do not let that be the case. It's so short, it's not technical. Usually the questions are things like, what excites you about working for Siemens? Or perhaps, why did you decide to apply for this particular role? It's really not stressful. There's nothing in there that you need to prep for, really. Okay.
Is it timed that bit, Victoria? Do students get the question and then they've got a couple of minutes to compose their thoughts and then they have to answer?
Yes. And they also get to do a retake as well. So if they feel like they've messed up, they can do it again. I think you get 2 retakes, but try not to let that stress you out, because I do know that it can be quite stressful and daunting for people, and people do delay doing it for that reason. Hiring managers will watch your video screen if you are successful. So they will watch it, and they will then decide from those video screens who to progress to an assessment centre or an interview. But as I said earlier, your CV will not be seen by them until your actual interview or the assessment centre, which has been a huge shift in our process. And we kind of trialled it last year with apprentices, and we've rolled it out now for graduates, interns, and summer placement students as well. Okay. The reason we've done that is for lots of reasons, but it's to ensure that everyone who reaches this stage has the best and fairest chance of selling themselves in person, so that we can truly assess for potential. We might have students that haven't perhaps had the best start in life. They've maybe not had parents who have been particularly supportive and not helped them with their CV, and so their CV might be really, not the best in comparison to other students who maybe have had that support. So it does kind of, give those people a chance to put themselves in front of somebody. Also, another top tip that I wanted to mention, please make sure that you check your emails regularly when you're applying for roles, especially your junk mail folder, because it's not uncommon for students to miss deadlines in terms of games-based assessments or video screens because they fail to see the invitation. This can also result in your application being automatically disqualified if the deadline has passed and you've not completed it. And again, we can't chase everybody. We're dealing with huge numbers. Okay.
Can I just ask a question on that, Victoria? So just to mention, manage expectations then, what are your kind of deadlines are you looking at throughout this process? Is it quite a quick process, or does it take a little bit more time?
usually we give usually for at least 5 days to complete a games-based assessment, and the same again for the video screen.
Yeah, so plenty of time to get your preparations done, basically.
Yeah, and that's usually over a weekend as well, so it gives people the time to focus on it on a weekend.
Yeah, fantastic. Sorry, go on, keep us going through it.
Really, that's it. So once we've got to, through all of that, then if successful and the hiring manager has watched your video screen and would like to take you forward, then you'll hear from myself or a member of my team to be invited to attend an interview or an assessment day. Yeah,
it is really personal at Siemens though, isn't it? You mentioned your team there, and you do look at every application and things like that. It's always a person reviewing this. So like Victoria said, make sure you do your research. Another question I've got for you, Victoria, can a student just apply for the one opportunity? You mentioned when you spoke to Jess a little bit earlier on about being open-minded. So can they apply to more than
they can?
one position?
Yeah, they can apply for as many as they like. Obviously within reason. Make sure that you're actually, it's something that you want to do and it's something that you're interested in. Don't just apply for anything because you're looking for a role and you haven't thought about it. You need to really make sure that you are really passionate about wanting to join and fulfill that opportunity before applying. The amount of people as well that I've seen apply for roles and the cover letter is referring to a job somewhere else. I mean, for me, eye for detail is key. That's one of the most important things actually that I look for. If somebody sends an application in and it's full of spelling mistakes, the likelihood is I'm not going to put them forward because it takes 2 minutes to do a spell check and it takes 2 minutes to get someone else to check over it as well. So if you haven't done that, then what are you going to be like at work?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Say how it is, Victoria.
Be careful, with what you're putting forward. That one piece of paper is a first impression. And also try to keep your CV to 2 pages because sometimes we get War and Peace and we get a lot of CVs to go through. So obviously we want to just see the key things and make sure that you cover anything that you think that we might want to see. Like I mentioned earlier, if you've been coding on a night, mention it on your CV because that's something we might want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything that you've just mentioned, Victoria, are all so achievable. Save that email address into your inbox and make sure you spell check, make sure you mentioned Siemens when you are putting your applications together. These are the very basics. So it's open to everybody to get your applications in and apply for. So moving on slightly then, Jade, I'm going to come to you because you've recently gone through the application process. What top tips would you suggest?
One of them's been taken, but I'll just reiterate it. I would tailor your CV just to include relevant coursework, relevant experience, relevant projects that you've done. The second one I want to stress so much is utilize your uni placement advisors or team. They're there to help. Go to those sessions, email them if you have any worries, ask them for support. They're there to help. The amount of help I got, I don't know if I would be here without that help, honestly.
Yeah, brilliant.
Third question is practice behavioral and technical questions because they're just so important. And then the final one, what was the last one? Was to just research about the company, like understanding the core business values and its culture. It's going to make you so much more confident in the interview process. I promise you. Those are my top tips.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you very much. Do your research.
Do your research.
Invest. People that turn up, they haven't got a clue about what we do and they still think we make mobile phones and this, that, and the other. It's honestly, it can switch people off in 2 seconds flat if you haven't done your research.
Absolutely. And just what you mentioned about your placements team there at university, I know that Jess and the Gradcracker team here are virtually up and down the country speaking to students, speaking to graduates on a daily basis. I think Jess, you've spoken to probably about 15 universities so far this week, spoken to hundreds and hundreds of students. So make sure, shout out to Jessica here, make sure you attend one of Jessica's presentations on campus as well. And she's dying to see it. She wants to tell you all about the hints and tips and how to use Gradcracker and how you are successful when you put your applications in. So watch this space with Jessica as well. So what I want to do now is finish off with Siemens and do 2 quick fire rounds. So favourite thing about working for Siemens, and I'm going to come to you first, Victoria.
My favourite thing, I think, is the culture. It is very much at Siemens. I mean, I've been here for 13 years, and quite honestly, I can't imagine being anywhere else. Everybody's incredibly supportive. You know, everyone can learn so much. It's so vast, so much to learn. You simply cannot get bored here.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, Victoria. Anna?
I would say it's how many opportunities you can get here. It's always open. It's always what you can imagine, or maybe what you can't imagine. So it's always up to your interpretation. You can choose whatever or whoever you would like to be or whatever you would like to learn. So it's very great for all the opportunities you can have within the company.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Jasmine?
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Anna said. It's opportunities and people, a bit of a mixture. Like everybody is more than welcome to happy to answer your questions, and you can really just ask to go along to places, and more often than not they'll say yes and you'll be able to gain something out of it. So yeah, everyone's super friendly and more than happy to help.
Yeah, the opportunities are definitely there for you out there. You just need to take them as well. Henrietta?
I mean, pretty much along the
Everything.
same lines, but yeah, it's also the openness. If you've got an idea of how to improve something, you know, go tell them. People are open to the ideas and they want your ideas as well. Or if you've got any questions, you know, if there's any other things that you'd like to do, if you'd like to go shadow some people that aren't necessarily to do exactly what you're doing, go ask them. They'll say yes.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
anything, just ask, really. Just ask.
Perfect. Thank you, Henrietta. And Shadira, favourite things so far? I know you haven't been there long.
I think it's the relationships that I've built. I know that's piggybacking off of everyone's idea, but like we have this concept called growth talks. It's not like corporate a buzzword. Like it's genuinely like meaningful conversations with your manager about like aspirations, career goals, just feedback, like praise, like improvement. It's so useful, especially since I've just started in this corporate environment. It's really useful for like to just help me do better in this role and to see how my role and my place fits into the bigger picture. It's really helpful.
It's so brilliant that you've got that support network as well there, haven't you? You've got that person that you can just, you know, they're there behind the scenes that you can just ask anything, you know, of them.
And everyone's like, sorry, all my managers, my line managers, like super like helpful and always happy to help. And even if I don't have a line manager, I have a buddy. Even if I have that like mentors, there's always someone there to talk to, even if like one person's sick or one person's on holiday, like there will always be someone there to talk to.
Perfect. Oh, Shadira, you are so sweet. And now we're going to move on to the cool and interesting facts about Siemens. And Victoria, tell us about yours.
Okay, well, mine's long-standing, and probably the first fun fact that hit me about 13 years ago. So for those thrill seekers out there, if anyone has been to Alton Towers, Siemens motor drives are using Nemesis ride, and the name Nemesis is actually an anagram of Siemens.
Yeah, I knew that, but I thought it was absolutely amazing.
It has just been taken down though, so I feel like I need to find a new fun fact now, but whether it's been put back up again, I'm not sure. But yeah.
For the webinar next year, Victoria, we'll get a different one.
I'll find a new one for next time.
Perfect. Thanks, love. Anna, what's your cool, interesting fact?
So during my Siemens time in Germany, I realized how much importance the Siemens name actually has. So every time I mentioned to people I work in the company, they treated me with utmost respect. Most of my problems got solved, and it's incredible how they enjoy and respect Siemens, because they have a special region in the city, but in the city of Berlin, dedicated for Siemens, which they call a Siemensstadt, which is a Siemens town, if we translate it to English, which is great. So Siemens has a big respect within Germany.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, Anna. Jasmine?
It's something crazy, and I've just double checked on it, but 1 in 3 machines in the whole world is controlled by a Siemens controller. So the brains, like Anna said, the PLCs is Siemens, which is just insane. The scale of it is just massive.
Yeah, it is just amazing how big you are and what sorts of things you get up to. On to you, Henrietta.
Yeah, so about trains, because that's what I work with.
Yeah,
but the first electric passenger train was presented by Werner von Siemens himself in 1879 in Berlin.
Perfect. Thank you. Shadira, come on, finish us off.
Any football fans, in 2002, Siemens sponsored Real Madrid for their football shirts.
Yeah, perfect. Right, across the board, fantastic information and informative facts about Siemens. So like I said, all the way through the webinar, make sure you go to the Gradcracker Hub and apply to the opportunities, make sure you follow, make sure, like Victoria said, do your research. You know, mention to Victoria that you watched this webinar. It shows all sorts of things that you've wanted to do the research, you've wanted to watch all of the people here today about their opportunities and experiences so far. So thank you, Siemens. Again, it's been an absolute eye-opener and a pleasure to speak to you. Join me and Jessica next Thursday, where we're joined by nuclear graduates, hear all about the nuclear industry and their fantastic graduate programme. So thank you very much, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.